and welcome to the 101st ever Call The Midwife podcast.
Woo!
Welcome. Today, we are doing a special episode. We are doing Room 101 of Call The Midwife, where we put our least favourite things into Room 101. Bit of a weird concept, but just go with us, guys. If you've been here for the 100 others, this is the 101st, you know what we're on about.
This is a go with the flow opportunity.
We're just gonna chat negative about midwife, our favorite thing.
Yeah, it's all about the vibes today.
About one of our favorite things.
Vibes are vibes, you guys. That's the message.
So if you tuned in last week on our 100th episode, we did our most positive things. So if this is a bit bleak for you, go back to last week's.
Yeah.
I'm Alex, by the way. I've not introduced us at all.
Oh yeah.
I'm Alex.
I'm Becky.
I'm Jen. Hello.
I'm keeping it like this, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's Room 101. Room 101 is presenting as well.
Yeah.
We're not professionals. Do you know what I mean?
We're playing fast and loose, y'all. Oh, there's some crows outside.
A murder of them.
Oh, Mom and I have to cultivate our relationship with the crows. We were doing really good when we first moved in, but I think the crows. I wonder if they migrated. Do crows migrate?
I don't know, but what are you talking about crows? What do you mean?
I don't know.
We cultivate your relationship with crows. What?
Have you not heard about crows? And how they have... Oh, okay, wait. Sorry. Quick side note. Okay, crows are amazing birds.
I've seen a little kid on TikTok walk to school with one.
Yeah. I listened to a TikTok that might have been fictional, but it was presented as a true story where a crow basically saved a young girl's life because she was kidnapped, and then her best friend followed the direction of a crow, and then it helped lead her to solve... Anyway, that might have been fictional. But long story short is crows are amazing. And I actually have heard that they are very protective. They are very loyal. They are very intelligent. And if you treat them well, they will reciprocate. And that
what are they going to do for you? Give you a back massage?
Here's the thing. No, not back massage, but there was this one lady who I did hear about who something had happened to her. I want to say she fainted or fell over or something like that. And because she had crows that were friends with her, they came over and cawed and cawed and cawed. They made their noises.
Oh, and crow, I will follow you. Of course. Who's going to be I'll follow you, crow, to their house?
But were they waiting for her to die, perhaps, so they could feast on it?
No, they're not vultures. They're crows. They were just being helpful. And
then the murder of crows, Jen.
I'm just saying, anyone out there, just do a quick Google on crows and stuff. I'm telling you, last year when my mom first moved into this house, and this is why I wonder if they migrated, because I've started seeing them again. But we would put out bird food and stuff like that for all of the birds. And the crows, they would leave things for us at our front door. I'm not kidding you. One time there was a bottle cap. Another time there was a pine cone.
I would want a magpie to leave me a gold ring. And
Yeah. And so I'm not going to say more because I know I'm sounding very silly, but I'm just saying it is a real thing. And if you look if you look it up, it's real, and you should always foster a positive relationship with your environment. You never know. You never know.
I'm going to foster some crows.
I'm going to segue into least favorite.
Well, can I just say that is the weirdest opening we've ever had. Happy 101, everyone.
Least favorite episode or storyline, and that introduction might be our listeners.
I mean, if anyone thought we were professional, you were insane. But if you think it now, right? Who's going first about the least favorite episode or storyline?
I do have an answer for this, but you go ahead, Bex. You go ahead.
Well, we've just had that episode recently with the pigeons.
The bloody birds I've written yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I wrote also kind of slightly animal related. Sister Monica Joan going to Scotland.
Oh.
Yeah.
She annoyed the absolute hell out of me when she went there.
Gerald.
Was so annoying. Gerald.
The Gerald storyline ringing up and it just went to nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not a specific storyline, but I'm less fond of an episode where they go to the London. Someone gets seconded to men's surgical.
Yeah, she just wants to stay in people's houses.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think we all had good choices for our least favorite there.
Okay, next. Storyline that seems heartwarming, but when you really think about it, it's actually quite sinister.
Okay, shall I go first?
Yeah, I've got 3 on this. So
same. Oh my god, I wonder if we've got the same because I've got 3.
Okay. Can I do my 3? I have one.
Go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I've written loads because there's so many.
Okay.
problematic and awful. But number one, the incestuous brother, Peggy and Frank.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Say more. I forget about that.
The ones who had
The one.
incest.
Oh, I defended them the whole time. Okay, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I've got rid of one. Okay, so we've only got two Becks. The second one is the Kirsten on the boat.
Yes. Because
Having the
Oh,
baby.
that one.
I was like, oh, it's so sweet how they're all looking after her.
I
But
know.
no, because they're using her as
A sex
Yeah.
aid.
sex slave.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't have a
Awful.
way out.
And
Yeah.
her dad in the books was as well.
Yeah, so that
The
was my
book was even
second-
worse.
I know.
Yeah, that was my second one. I've also got the Warrens, Conchita and Len,
Yeah.
because she was
Yeah.
essentially a child bride.
I think that's my one I had written down, but then I thought, well, it wasn't heartwarming. I thought nonce right at the start. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also off that one, because she refused care. I know in the book it did work out for her, but she did refuse care for a premature baby.
Yeah. Well, in the book, she refused care even more
Yeah,
than
I
in
mean,
the show.
the
Yeah.
baby did survive. So, but
Right.
Yeah.
those were my three. Jen, did you have anything different?
I had a different one actually.
Ooh.
So I had the one, do you remember the family that, and this was, I want to say, I think it was Dr. Turner and Phyllis or Dr. Turner and Sheila. But basically, it was a family that were living in this really horrible boarding house. And like the mom was going to give birth, but she had a burlap
The
sack on for
McAvoys.
underwear. Yeah. And then they were like, well, we have to give her care. But then they went in there and there was like all horrifying stuff in there. And then they got it fumigated. But then I think it was Phyllis. She showed up when it was being fumigated. And she's like, well, fumigation isn't enough because you're just going to move them right back in there. And it's not safe anyway. And so she said, well, would you want your family going back in there to the guy?
He just had a baby called Keith.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, you do kind of have me there. And she's like, yeah, exactly. So what are you gonna do for them? Give them the council flat or something like that. And it was like, oh, it worked out quite well, but like, I mean, it was horrifying, like what they were living in and doing, and not they weren't doing anything, but like what had befallen them. You know what I mean? So that's where the
Yeah.
sinister part of it came in through
Well,
for me.
she
Even
got
though,
dysentery because I'm going to talk about this because I've got them written
yeah,
down for something else.
it
But
was
do you know what? Just reminded
horrible.
me then. So obviously the kid's called Keith, right? Now,
Yeah.
nowadays, there's some names that like Heath. Heath's quite a popular name at the moment. And it's one letter
Heath.
difference.
Heath.
Oh,
Yeah.
Heath. I was like, I've not heard of any kids being called Keith recently.
Well, exactly, but it's only one letter difference. There's Heath. Now, you know, like
No,
names like
two.
Barry and Gary.
It's more than one
No,
letter.
I know it is, but you know what I mean. But like Barry and Gary,
Yeah.
I don't think Heath spelled Heith, by the way, everyone. But you know, like Barry and Gary, like Harry is such a big name at the moment, but it's one letter away
Yeah.
from Barry and Gary. I just think about these things before you name your kids, guys.
I agree.
Wonder
Also,
if Ken will have a resurgence because of the Barbie movie.
Well, Kenzie has. You know, the name Kenzie was really popular for a while.
yeah.
Like, it's just basically the same as Kenneth if you just put it down to the other thing, Valentina and Valentino. There's quite a lot of them at the moment. They just essentially end up being vowels.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Exactly.
sorry, that was an absolute.
No, it's true. It's true. Yeah. I mean, like I lived in Brooklyn for a long time, and at one point in my career, well, lol, I'm using the word career there in that context. But anyways, I was working at a preschool, like an after school program, and I tell you what, the kids' names in that group there were some wild names.
Oh, give us an example.
One of them that stuck out to me, and I probably could remember more if I really thought about it, but one of them that stuck out to me was his name was Noemi, and it was Noeme, and I just was like, and it was a little boy, and I just remember being like, what? Like it really caught me off guard. It really
Is
caught
it
me off guard.
French?
Possibly. I mean, now listen, I will say, like, the preschool that I was working at was a very, like, you were shelling out a lot of clams to, like, send your kids there. So, and Brooklyn, like, where
Never
it
heard
was
that phrase. I
also,
love it.
I think I just made it up, honestly. But, like, and then the parents who lived in that neighborhood or anywhere close enough to, like, have chosen that place also probably came from, like, or had just a lot of money or whatever. So I'm sure that there was, like, a lot of kind of, like, cachet to whoever these people really were. So I bet you the names, probably came from, we're not talking about just like regular, like just working people here. I mean, you know what I'm
Alex's,
saying?
Jen's, or Becky's. None of them. And
Yeah, just none of these, the regular, roughnecks like the three of us, just out of out of the shipyards, just bringing home the bacon for our little ones. You know what I mean? Oh God. So, anyways, yeah. But Noemi stuck out to me, so. It could be like French or something, honestly, now that we think about it.
I think we're trying to give it too much. Okay. Which character has disappointed or let you down the most, and in what circumstances?
Now, I feel like I've rushed this because I've written down one and I thought, oh, hang on, I don't think I've read the second part. I'm rubbish. I keep doing this. It's like I'm in a GCSE panicking. But I wrote down Magda because I was so excited for Magda, the nanny. I thought she was going to be so cool because she was a badass. And like,
Yeah.
I know it was a desperate situation, so I'm not really criticizing her for that, although I am. She should have just spoken to them too.
Yeah.
But I thought you were going to say she should have kept her legs closed.
The problem with you, Magda, is your legs is like your mouth, never shut. No, I just thought she would have been a really, really good character because she was already fitting in well. She was cool. She brought a new dynamic to stuff. And I thought she was going to be a long-term character. And then I was really gutted she went dead quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she had a very like she also made kind of like a lulz dynamic between Dr. Turner and Sheila,
Yeah,
which was really played up. Like I feel like it played it for a lot of comedy, which really made me laugh.
Yeah, I think it would have been great for her to stay. So
yeah.
shame on her.
Oh God.
More shame and stigma than she should have had.
Yeah, exactly. I wrote down, this may be rude, but I wrote down Sister Monica Joan because about 50% of the time she really, I feel like, acts in a way that just drives me crazy. And the citation that I have for this disappointment is, remember when she was taking all the taxis? And then it was costing the convent like an arm and a leg. And Sister Julian was like, could you please just like not take taxis all the time? Like, could you just reduce your taxi trips like by 5%, 10%? Could we just go once or twice a week instead of all these different times and da da da? And she was like, no, and like so rude about it. And then there was some horrible situation with one of the families, and there was a baby that had passed away. And Cynthia was really worried about the baby not having a funeral, and it was like this healing thing that the family needed to go through. And then Sister Monica Joan, out of nowhere, like she hadn't been annoying everyone so much, was like, oh, well, I'll pay for it out of my taxi money. Like she was being so altruistic, and it wasn't at all. Like she was just being like so annoying, and like she'd already said that it was just like
they shouldn't have already budgeted. Like the taxi money wasn't budgeted for it.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like you're making it seem like you're so saintly, but you're not. And that absolutely drives me crazy when like someone tries to be like so good, but it's like not really good or they haven't sacrificed anything. And I just was like, that's my disappointment.
Mine is going to be Phyllis.
Oh!
In her treatment of Sister Francis when she joined.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
oh, guys, I'm really glad we do this podcast. That was really insightful. Well done.
Yeah, you've actually mentioned this a lot. I think this storyline really touched you, Bex.
Well, just because I feel like Sister Francis just needed a confidence building.
Yeah.
And I get where Phyllis is coming from, because they're like really stretched, they're really short staffed. But I just thought that's not the way to.
You like softly catch the monkey. You don't scream in their face.
But she was just quite cruel and unnecessary. I don't think that's Phyllis.
Same. I didn't think it was, because I've had this as my 0 before.
Yeah.
Because it really annoyed me. So yeah, you're right. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, Jen, yours was also great and insightful.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, but it also was. Like I thought after I said it, I thought I should have said that.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, most toxic expectant father. There's a lot.
Oh, I was going to say, unfortunately, we have too many to choose from. But...
I've got 3 written down.
Oh, I picked 1, but I'm sure I'm going to agree with all of yours, Al.
Okay, you ready? I'll go first.
Yeah.
Richard Brignall, the one who pimped his wife Molly Brignall out.
Yes.
And they got the kids taken away from them. That was awful.
Oh.
Lester Watts with little Nicky.
I've got Lester Watts.
Which one's
Jen? Do you remember?
Oh, I put the guy who just got out of jail and then locked his wife in the bedroom. That's him, right?
That's Lester
Watts.
Watts.
Okay, so we were right on with that one. Yeah.
Then we've got Richie Brignall who pimped his wife out, and then the kids, they kept making the kids drink one of the girl was called Lorraine.
Like that. Yeah. And then the kids were inside the apartment, and Peter had to break them out because they had a fire and they were all gonna suffocate or something.
And then and then the grandma took him. And then I've also written down one which isn't expectant, but I did think this is just like example of years and years of abuse. Was John Lacey, how awful he was to his wife, who's just like downtrodden the awful American fiance.
Yeah, she sucked.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sex.
Well, I had Lester.
Oh.
Yeah. Honestly, all of those are really good ones.
I mean, there was quite a lot to choose from as well. There's more examples.
I know. Well, I think a few of your other questions, Bex, we're going to hit on other ones too, because oh God.
Okay, alternative ending or plot twist would you like to introduce? And I don't think I've answered. I wrote this question. I don't think I've answered it as it was intended. It was my
Okay, here's my I have two answers for this.
okay.
Jen.
Okay. My first one is alternate ending, and I want Joe Collett to have a happier ending than what he got. Because I love Joe. Joe like really, really like spoke to me, and I just like I still want to give him a hug. And I wanted him to have a happier like I wanted him to like even if he had to go into the nursing home, I wanted him to like get better and then like be good and like make friends and maybe have like a lady friend or something. And that didn't happen. And then the plot twist was what I was, and I'm not saying this is like an amazing idea, but I want a male nurse to come to Nanatas.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, that's a good idea.
Just something different, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Do you know what I've put? I'd like Barbara to live.
Oh, I know. But then if she did, like, oh, those
I
are such
know.
good episodes,
Then
though.
I went in a bit of a weird dream world where it was like plot twists. What would you like, right? That you'd like to introduce, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you know what would be mega, right? If Val,
Yeah.
because Val just disappeared in the middle of the night, didn't she? Obviously,
Yeah.
obviously spoiler
We're
alert,
jumping
everyone.
ahead,
The
yeah.
series, well, if you're only listening along with us, just get a life, right? So
Thank you for listening, but also get a life. Great.
get a grip, watch ahead, then rewatch with us again. So,
Yeah.
but no, Val just disappeared, did a midnight flirt, and everyone's like, where is she? And it was just this non-entity of a storyline. I think she went away because she was actually pregnant with Dr. McNulty's baby. And then she comes back with a baby. How good would that be? A secret
that
shop
would be
baby.
good.
Jen's face.
Jen's trying to compute it. Wait,
I
did
really
she
like
have a
Brits
fling with
for a
Dr.
second.
McNulty?
Well, she thought he was quite fit. Remember the girls were
Yeah, we haven't seen the scene of it, you know. Not going in. I can't say that on a podcast.
Oh,
But you know what I mean?
But remember when they were all talking and they said something about Val's doctor and she was like, "Well, he's all right." And then they were like, "Oh,
Yeah,
is
we
he
all
hot in
thought
here?"
something was going to happen. Maybe it did behind the
Because
scenes.
she was blushing. Remember they all said she was
Yeah.
blushing. And
So
then
that's
they
my
did
point.
seem
I
to
think
have
that'd be really good. That could work.
Yeah,
Plot
they
twist.
did seem to have a real like kind of tit for tat because even remember when he was
Yeah, tit for
when she
tat.
scolded him and he was like, "Aren't you supposed to be teaching me something?" She's like, "Yeah, how about if I teach you some manners?" And it was like, "Ooh," I'm like,
Hang on, is tit a breast in America?
"Yes."
Oh.
But that expression doesn't mean that. But that's
No,
what
I know it doesn't, but
I
it
know
does
what
in
you
this
mean.
respect.
Can you just imagine if she saw him in that knitted twin set and she was like, "Oh, mama, here we go."
Yeah.
Okay, so I've not answered the question as it was intended, but my alternative
You wrote
endings
it.
are, I know, the women who had abortions and then basically had complications and then couldn't have children. But that was essentially real life and what happened.
Yeah, but that's a nice alternate ending, Beth.
That is
I
nicer than mine.
Also, Tony Amos. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
He was gay
Oh,
and he had
yes.
hormone treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that he wouldn't have the hormone treatment. Yes, yes. I thought you were
He
gonna say
wouldn't
you
have
wish
tried
he
to
was
kill himself
gay.
as well. Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, I think that's nice. Yeah,
I
that you
just
would
think,
want him to not have to go through that. Yeah.
Okay, now I did skip a question by accident, so I'm going to go back to it. In today's cancel culture, who is most likely to be cancelled based on modern standards?
Well,
okay, go ahead.
most. But like I've said, most of the main characters are pretty good because obviously you couldn't like just have loads of racists out there and horrible people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Constantly. So I've kind of not gone with the too toxic. I've gone with the misogynist Frank Robbins, who only wanted a daughter and wouldn't even look at his daughter when she was born. He had the rope place.
The rope factory.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those like Instagram and like TikTok like gender reveals when they like this couple
gender
like they
disappointment is real and you're like,
they find out it's a girl and the dad is just like, "Oh man," and like you can tell he's so upset and the wife is just sitting there like,
famous ones
okay.
happened this week. So you know Charlotte Crosby from Geordie Shore?
No, not really.
I don't
Not for
watch
me,
Geordie Shore, never
unfortunately.
have, but she's famous over here anyway. I say famous, she's awful, but she, people know about her. She was on Celebrity Big Brother, she won it. Anyway, she's pregnant with her second child, and she's found out she's having a second girl, and she's just like, "Oh no, what a butt!" Like and it's just embarrassing. You're like, get a
That's
grip.
terrible.
And also, girls are so much better than boys. Calm down.
That's terrible. Also, can I just tell you guys, quick diversion, but it's on the baby
Oh,
thing.
because is it about birds?
No, it's about babies. But like, here's the thing I've seen recently is people doing like the gender reveal cakes where like it's a cake decorated however on the outside.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
And
the
then
glasses.
they do the wine glasses. Like, what is that?
To be fair, it's the new
Basically
way
what
of
they do is they take a wine glass, they hold it upside down, and then they like smash the wine glass into the cake to like kind of scoop out a piece of the
Yeah.
cake. And I'm like, what
but
is
it's
this?
the new way of like portions for cakes now as well. Like I've
But it's
seen it at like
absolutely
parties like that.
so then you just eat whatever is in the wine glass?
Yeah, with like a fork or whatever.
You
That's
guys,
ridiculous.
culture, we're getting stupider. This is a backwards move for everybody. It's a cake. Cut it. How the thing is then the cake is an absolute mess. The frosting goes everywhere.
Also,
It just drives me
you
crazy.
don't have your share of the frosting.
No. Also, how are you supposed to get any kind of like pieces of it that makes sense out of it? Because then you're just gonna end up with all these insane like melon ball size cakes portion. It makes me
I
insane.
mean,
But anyways,
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Like I'm
but
not.
then, well, no, I mean, like, look, there's lots of atrocities on this earth. You know what I mean? Like, are people cutting a cake with a wine glass the worst? No, obviously not. But then the other thing that annoyed me was I watched one of these with the stupid wine glasses, and then the inside of the cake was green.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then at the bottom of the TikTok, it was like, what does green gender reveal mean? And basically, I mean, I honestly, I couldn't even be bothered to like, I clicked through one thing and I was like, you know what, I really don't
Well,
care.
Jen, I've been watching a load of these because I hate TikTok, and it's a new thing, right? So they have the cake and they think that's their surprise, right? But it's not. And then they're like, "What?" And then like a family member comes in with a hat on and takes the hat on, and the hair's sprayed blue or some
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Honestly,
Oh,
it's
because
just
Have
people
you
make
seen those
it
ones
sounds so
where
annoying.
the woman's got like punching,
Oh, like boxing gloves?
like yeah, and the husband punches them and it releases some sort of powder that is like horribly aggressive against a pregnant woman.
Oh, this is horrible. This is just horrible.
But here's what I saw was that the green means like we're like it's like gender fluid or like they're not going to assign a gender to the baby or
So
something
why
like
do a
that.
gender
Well, then don't
reveal?
do a gender
I
reveal.
know. Well, that's what that I immediately felt myself be so mad about it. And then I was like, you need to step away because this is not a thing that should cause you agitation in your life. Like it really, you know. But again, all of these well, and then the other thing about gender reveal, have you heard now this is probably a US thing. I don't know if other countries have this problem, but people started to get really aggressive with the gender reveals and they would set off fireworks and like shoot guns and stuff and then
Yeah,
it ended
I
up
think it's
causing
more of an America. I'm not gonna lie.
it
I'm not being
absolutely
mean to
is.
Americans. I
No,
think it genuinely is.
no, I can say it because I'm from here. I own it. But the thing is, then it would cause like forest fires and like
Yeah.
other like property damage and like potentially people even getting like hurt because they were doing all these dangerous activities when they really shouldn't have no business doing them. And it just makes me absolutely insane. And it just this whole
Well, Jen, another thing about Jen reveal cakes, really quick, I saw them this week, is there's a new trend to have like a baby bump. So it's like a woman, like she's got a baby bump, right? And
oh
then they do
no.
like a C-section,
Oh.
and then the baby's come. Honestly, I was like, bleh. I mean,
Well,
who wants to
just
eat that cake after that?
oh, there's a lot of just disgusting things people do around like, oh, yeah, just I don't know. I just find myself being increasingly annoyed with people and like a
No,
lot of
that
it
is. I think
centers
that's our age, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
it really is, yeah. But a lot of it for me at this point
And
centers
hormones.
around like insane things that people are doing around wedding and kids. And I love weddings, I love kids, I'm here for it. But the more we go down the rabbit hole of these like wacky things, and they're just like micro trends. You know what I mean? Like in 5 years, no one's gonna talk about this stuff anymore. I really just
I
can't.
hate those big dances at weddings where they do these really big pre-prepare, and I'm just like, oh, you're not Ross and Rachel. It's just embarrassing. Like, it just makes me cringe. I don't
Yeah,
like.
or
I'm
like
just.
or like
I
when the maid of
never.
honor does like a rap about her new brother-in-law, and you're just like,
Oh,
please
I
don't.
genuinely
Like,
cannot think of anything worse in my life, and I never could, than doing a first dance in front of everyone. Like it just made me feel sick. I never did because I never had a big wedding. Like I got married in Vegas, but you know what I mean. Like I just that was one of the reasons. I just can't think of anything worse than doing a first dance. It just makes me feel ill.
I know. I don't know. To each their own, like truly, whatever you want to do at your wedding or with your thing, as long as you're not shooting guns and putting off fireworks that are potentially going to hurt people and property, like do what you want to do and like honestly own it. And we love it for
Have a
people to do what they want
cesarean
to
cake.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you want a cesarean cake, have it. You know, like there's no like go ahead and do it. Like that's totally fine. But just It's gonna be a no for me, dog. No way. So wait, do we talk about oh wait, do we cover the question?
No,
I think
from
we
micro. Right, sorry.
So you know from me, crow. Honestly, at this rate, I am gonna have a crow for a pet shortly. Oh wait,
I'm excited.
Cancel culture. Okay, so my answer for cancel culture is either all the older male doctors, because I think all of them are
Yes,
horrible.
I
And
thought
like
about that as well.
if
Yeah.
you saw a doctor behave like that now, you would be like fired, fired, fired. Or the dad who gave his wife gonorrhea from a sex worker.
I mean, that's
Yes.
pretty bad.
Yeah, like that's the kind of thing that like if the like nowadays if the wife went on TikTok and she's like story time how I got gonorrhea from my husband via a sex worker, and then it's like 47 parts and everybody's got to watch.
By the way, Jen's got a TikTok coming out. Jen, have you got your TikTok name out? Because Jen's going to say, how I made friends with crows.
My cancel culture was the doctor who works at the London.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So many complaints.
Oh, they were, to be honest, older
Yeah.
male doctors were absolutely, quite rightly, represented in a horrible light.
Yeah. Well, I won't say too much on this, but just to say, so like my mom recently had a health issue and she's fine, everything's fine, but it brought up just a discussion about like her health in general and like her health history and everything like that. And she then saw some girlfriends of hers and they were talking about kind of they had gone through something similar to what she'd gone through. And they all then started reminiscing, and reminiscing is probably too kind of a word, but like talking about like their history because they're the same age
Comparing
basically.
notes, basically.
Yeah. And then she and I had a conversation about it, and basically what it boiled down to, and it's really her stuff to tell, so if she ever wants to get into it, it's that's for her. But I'll just say like
that's next week's episode.
Exactly. But it was really one of those moments where, and she and I talked about it, we referenced like the podcast and like Call the Midwife and stuff, and she was like, you wouldn't believe basically like some of the stuff that used to get told to all of us, you know. She's like, stuff that I went through, stuff that my friends went through, like things that we all talk about now, like in terms of, you know, like just, you know, and I mean, I'm not saying anything.
Look at the difference between talking about abortions in the series we're on now and in the first series. It wasn't even uttered.
Yeah, exactly. So just to say, like, yeah, all those doctors can just go somewhere. I won't say where, but somewhere. Okay,
next question. We're going to skip forward to the current series.
Okay, so spoiler alert, right?
Yeah. Do we all agree that we hate the downfall of Matthew?
No, I really don't like it. No, I'm joking. I love it. Go on.
So how do we want the Trixie Matthew situation to resolve itself?
Now, I've got a really good one.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Well, wait, actually, do you want to save your good one until we say our ones that are like probably
No, I think mine will outshine both of yours, so it's fine. So
we'll just say we agree and then we'll go. Okay, so he discovers.
No, I'll keep it in, Jen. I don't know. Right. So he discovers his co-directors, right, were embezzling the money and nefariously saying that money deals he was saying were going wrong. So they were cooking the books, right? Saying it wasn't a good investment, saying he'd lost loads of money, but actually they were great investment. Yeah, they were stealing the money. So they were trying to get him ousted because they wanted all the money. And they made his mum believe that, so that they were basically cooking the books to get him out. And then basically, like, then he'll come back. We'll find out that all this was going on and actually that it wasn't him who was wrong. They were basically giving him false accounting books because it's not like he can Google stuff. And then he comes back, takes over the company, carries on successfully. Trixie lives the best rich life in London. They get pregnant.
Oh, that's very good. But wait, also, isn't his dad in the picture as well? Isn't his dad also mad?
His dad died, didn't he?
His dad died.
Oh, right.
Which means they're trying to like get the company off the family.
Oh, yes. Because
his mum's quite old.
See, I thought you wouldn't really like Matthew that much, Al, because he's like so posh.
He is dead posh, but he is fit. So
I thought you were gonna razz me when I said I thought he was handsome, and you were gonna be like, "Oh, he's minging. No, I don't like him. No."
No, I'm sorry, Jen. I may be a lot of things, but stupid is not one of them. How fit is he? Like, he's too fit to like. Don't get me wrong. Personality-wise, he is not my type, but you can't deny a face like that.
I know, and a body too. Gee whiz! I mean, come on,
he's a bit short for me, probably.
He is too short for.
Also, he's perfect for Trixie as well. Like perfect.
Yeah. So, but I don't like how he's treated Trixie.
Oh, I can't stand it. The last episode when he was like, "You're good." He's like, "Oh, well, are we just gonna say it?" Because basically, his whole financial stuff tanks, right, over the course of a couple of episodes.
Or does
and he's not, or does it, and she's not really getting it because he's not telling her, and she's just not putting it together, which understandable, right?
Yeah.
And then it all kind of falls completely apart, and he's like, well, listen, I think I found, and then she finds out, and she's like, oh, holy bleep, like, I can't believe this. And so he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and she's like, well, we're gonna stick it out, we're gonna work together, like, Richard Purport, all that kind of stuff. Great. And then he goes, oh, okay, he's like, I figured out a way to fix it, I'm going to New York, or like, I can go to New York and like we can do this and this and this, and it'll take a couple
but even
of years.
Then
like,
it's still a risk, isn't it?
It's very risky. But it does seem like a very promising, like, worth the risk kind of potential. And she's like, I know, but New York, like, I don't really know. And he's like, I really want to go, so like, whatever.
Well, it's more like, I'm going.
Well, but I think there was a moment where she was like gonna think about it and decide what they were gonna do, because he didn't say it like definitively. And then like 10 seconds passes basically, and then he's like, I made my decision, I'm going, and I'm taking Joffrey with me, or whatever that kid's name is.
John T.
John T. And he's like, and not only did he say I'm going, not only did he say I'm going, he literally had the plane tickets in his hand, like paper plane tickets. He had the bags packed, like the kid was wearing the coat standing at the door, and she was just like, what are you talking about? And I'm not joking you, when we watched that episode, I turned to my mom, I was like, divorce. Like, that would absolutely send me to the moon if somebody, now I wouldn't actually, you have to like work it out because that's what marriage is about, but it just like that unilateral decision making that so deeply affects the family as a whole.
Well, it's not like they're moving to the next town either. It's literally like a completely different country.
And 1970 or whatever year it was at this point,
69,
like,
yeah,
I mean,
oh no, actually, yeah, it is 69.
Yeah. You're like gone. Like, I mean, you could maybe have like one phone call like every 4 months or something, like Lucille and Cyril have to do with her family back in Jamaica. But like, you're out, like, it drove me crazy.
Well, my prediction is I think we might find that he's got a brain tumor, and that's why he's been treating Trixie so badly.
I think that's a really good one as well. I'd already heard you say that, so I tried to not use yours.
Because I texted Alex this when we were watching it, because I was like, one night he had a really bad headache.
He did.
Yeah.
And we attributed it to stress, didn't we?
Which makes sense, yeah.
His personality just seems to have changed because he's been so cruel with Trixie.
Yeah. He has been.
Yeah.
And it's really not like him too. I mean, that's really not his character.
It's been so out of character with her.
Yeah, I didn't write anything as good as either one of you. I just said, he really annoyed me. I want her to be happy so bad though, so they need to do some soul searching and come back to London, but he needs to do better. And then I put 3 exclamation points. Well, is that good? It's not good. It's not good, but it's something anyway.
I mean, it's not ours, but it's all right.
Well, and I mean, I think all of us would like her to have a family too, because I feel like Trixie wants to be a mom.
Yeah. Does she though? Do we think she wants to be a mom?
I mean,
because she doesn't seem like she wants to give up a figure.
Well, I just feel like the more she goes along, the more she is like, I think she likes the idea of being like a wife and, doing that whole thing. And I think she really takes to being a stepmom to Joffrey. Yeah. But I also think that she is really dedicated to her career. And to me, she's very like first wave feminism in that, she's kind of like on that bandwagon that if she read
But she's been so fixated on the traditional getting married, and children comes with getting married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, also we know in the book she does.
She does.
Does have kids, so.
Mm-hmm. And in the book, she kind of does like Jennifer, and she leaves behind the,
Yeah, she marries a diplomat and goes around the world. So maybe this is a nod to her going around the world.
Does she, or is that Cynthia?
No, that's her. Cynthia marries a lecturer who they do travel together, but Trixie marries a diplomat and goes around the world.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question is very broad. What annoys you the most about Call the Midwife?
Mine 100% is the come away line, which is where the come away klaxon comes from. I'll put one in there just for the fun of it.
I said the way people just leave with no warning and are never heard from again.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. To me, it's an insane choice every time. I can't stand it.
It's happened numerous times. For me, it's when there's a woman giving birth and the baby's in distress. And in modern times, that would be the point where there's no choice but to have like an emergency cesarean or something. But in Call the Midwife, they just literally say, right, you're going to have to deliver the baby now. And then they just magically push that baby out.
You weren't trying before, but you are now.
And the woman is like covered in sweat and her hair's all matted down and like there's a ring around her collar and she's just like, oh.
Okay, next question. Cringiest moment or moment that's given you the ick?
Put it in the drawer, Sheila.
Okay, mine is the way Sheila announced her pregnancy with that drawing of a fetus.
That's a cesarean cake right there.
Oh my God. I actually had Aubrey going after Phyllis so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just started to get to be a bit, ugh.
Yeah, it was too much.
At a certain point, I felt bad for him, but before that, I was just like, ugh,
And also, if you weren't a
ugh.
police officer, they would be looking into an injunction. So,
Yes, exactly.
Okay, now, so this isn't just like storylines that haven't hit with, well, it kind of is that. Times when you've actually questioned.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I apologize. I just have to go back. Other cringy moment is when Trixie made that dinner for Christopher and she said something grapefruit surprise. And then he made a really horrible comment about like making omelets and like, you know, like the point, like, I'm not
jam
with
and
you because
toast or something.
yeah, he's like, I'm
Yeah.
not, and he kind of had this like, I'm not with you because you can cook or something. I don't like, he really gave me the ick in that scene and I forgot about it and I didn't write it down, but then I just remembered. So, anyways, I'm sorry, I just had to say that.
Okay.
Sorry, Beck.
No, that's fine. Times when you've questioned Heidi Thomas. Now, mine is the Gerald storyline. You've already mentioned it, Alex.
Let's say more on that though.
Because she had to put it in there because it is true to life. Like Jenny Lee did have that relationship with an older man, but there was just no purpose to it. No. She could have left that out. She didn't have to include that.
I think it was
led nowhere.
Well, I think it was to try and show how much she's moved on with life, that it wasn't even a thought of hers anymore, but it was just so this unended crapness the way they did it.
Girls, I'm gonna use a term that the Gen Zs use now. Jenny Worth, both in the book and in the show, was being such a pick-me girl with that. Like the way that she was like, oh, I've gone through this unbelievable life event, and it's like I've thrown myself into this new career, and I'm not gonna tell you anything about what it is, but I am gonna hint at it a lot. And like, yes, there is a man in my life, but like who I won't say. And I was like, people who do that are so annoying, and it's just like either talk about it or don't, babe. Like either you're gonna tell us about it or don't. But this whole like dropping hints thing every single time, like I couldn't love Jimmy because my heart belonged to another. It's like I don't want to hear it. No, it was so like self-aggrandizing in the end, and it was really annoying. And I was just like,
well, and
that was another one for giving me the ick. Jimmy, sorry, carry on.
Oh yeah, Jimmy.
Well, it leads on to least favorite character and who you would write out.
I haven't answered about
sorry.
So times when I've questioned Heidi Thomas, when she says "come away."
Wait, did Jenn even answer, or did I just answer my own question?
You just answered your own question, yeah.
Well, also I agree. I'm gonna.
I've also not finished.
But the thing is, Al, I'm going to agree with you because my answer for this is the same as my answer for the come away answer, where I said I don't like how she just lets characters leave with no nothing.
Yeah,
and that's where I question her because I'm like, Heidi, you're a genius, but you're just this. It just feels like you're dropping the ball, and I don't get it.
Same. So I've said the come away and that, but also I do have to say that since me and Bex went to that talk in Cheltenham, like she is so thorough. Like I genuinely never question her because she's so impressively thorough. But the come away thing does annoy me that like characters are like, oh, has it come away, when, you know, it's a medical term, like only medical people would use it. I don't mind medical people using it. It's like when it actually happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, same with the people leaving. And I guess sometimes that can be cutting room floor, but at the same time, she would still have control.
But it's happened too often to be cutting room floor.
Yeah. She does it all the time.
Yeah.
Also, you wouldn't cut the keys. Surely you wouldn't cut the key scenes.
Well, they seem to bloody have done.
You have to
remember that one
story.
with the we had this deleted scene we got from Australia.
Yeah.
Also, I wrote the way that, well, this is kind of mimicking my other point. I wrote the way Jane left, but then I also wrote the way Lucille left, because now Cyril is in this huge like quagmire with his marriage of like, what the heck is going on? And that really annoys me.
Yeah.
I want her to send some divorce papers.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I've left like Lucille things and stuff because I thought you two would go on, like not go on. That makes you sound like all you do is harp on about that. But I thought that might be more like in the forefront of your minds.
Well, yeah, it was, which is why I just said it.
No, I mean. For other questions we've had before, like
Oh,
about
I'll
what
probably put
storylines
it
would
for
you
other
change
stuff.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so least favorite character who you would write out of the show or who you're glad has left. And mine is Jenny Lee and Jenny Worth.
The whole reason we're here.
Mine's Sister Ursula. Oh, she was horrible.
Oh, I know you did write her. I feel bad, but I don't hate him, but I'm not sad he's gone. Aubrey, Sergeant Wolf. He just ended up being a nothing burger. And then when he dropped Miss Higgins, I was like, you know what? You just need to get along and go, man.
At
Yeah.
least he kind of had what annoys me about that is that nothing burger, at least he had an exit.
I
Yeah.
know.
Peter just sodded off after a bit.
How did he get an exit when others didn't?
Exactly.
Misogyny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any times you thought the nurses or the midwives, the nurses are the midwives, the nurses or the nuns were on the wrong side?
Oh, my one for this was, and she did figure it out, but Sister Evangelina and the breastfeeding.
Oh, that's what I've written.
Oh yeah. I just was like, and she did get there in the end, but I was like, oh, you're torturing this poor girl.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I
It's
also wrote
terrible.
about Sister Julianne with Tina Atkins when we had a big thing about this because you kind of could see where she was coming from and stuff. But I just thought, you're flogging a dead horse. I know that sounds really bad, but like you've done this before, you've been here too long. Like she's just never ever going to take care of them kids. The kids, when she did have them, she was neglecting. What are you doing, mate?
Yeah.
Mine was Marnie and Dot. Marnie couldn't cope because her husband had left her, and
Yeah.
Dot was going to adopt the baby.
Baby Andrew.
And nobody had any sympathy for Dot or could see where she was coming from.
Who couldn't have kids of her own either. It wasn't like she was,
This was the one where Tom got involved, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm with you on this one.
Well, do you know what I mean? Tom's involved.
Yeah, that drove me crazy. I felt so bad for Dot. I felt terrible.
Next question. The worst place anyone has given birth.
I have two for this. Bex, you guessed it. Kipper House.
Yeah,
Kipper place where they put kippers. Yeah, that was horrible. Like the smell of like putrefying fish. Also so unsanitary. And then the other one that still drives me crazy to this day is when the baby was coming and the lady was literally sitting on the communal toilet.
That's what I've written.
I mean, and this is what makes me insane about it. Like, there's so many terrible places where women have to give birth in this show. But the thing that makes me crazy is they have scenes where the nurses and the midwives talk about two expectant mothers. You know, if you don't get this place cleaned up, like, we're not going to be able to let you have your baby here. You know what I mean? That's not what you want. Like, let's do it together. Like, blah, blah, blah. They literally were letting this woman give birth on top of a toilet.
Yeah,
a
but
place
not just
where
that,
people
with loads of people gawping at it. It was rough.
Yes. Even a man came and was like, "Are you going to be off soon? I have to go." And he had his newspaper under his arm. And Sister Julian was like,
use the other one
back.
Well, this girl was like, use it on the other bloody landing. And it's just like, why would you not think to go to the other landing straight away if there's a big queue? I've also put the boat, Kristen going to the boat, because that was terrifying.
Oh my God.
I was racking my brain for the worst place. And then I thought about that poor woman. And there's twofold. The woman who gave birth under the tree in Africa.
Oh God, yeah.
Because with the lions and everything about to pounce on her.
Yeah. So not only was she in the middle of nowhere under a tree, but then two people that don't speak the same language rocked up.
One of them's a man, which she feels uncomfortable about, which totally makes sense.
Oh yeah, that was mine.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she had to like just literally hang on the tree. Remember?
Yeah.
No. I would just be like, you know what, baby, go back in. I'm not doing this right now.
We were watching something actually, and I think it was Father of the Bride too. Me and my daughter watched it today, but my husband was there, and we were talking about it. She was like, "I want a cesarean," and he was like, "Your mummy said that during when she was having you." and Bob's was like, "And what happened?" He was like, "They wouldn't do it," and like she was like, "Oh." Your mummy shouted that, screamed that in the nurses' faces.
Oh God. I wish they'd let you do that.
Good film though.
Yeah. Good film. Yes.
Which extra would you have liked to become a regular character? I don't have an answer for this. It's my own
I've got two.
Oh, so good.
I can answer for both of us.
Okay, good.
Okay, so do you remember that mum that I bloody love called Connie? She was dead warm and lovely.
Oh,
I just kept gushing about. Well, she was so lovely. I just loved her. Yeah. And the other one I'd really like is Val's cousin Maureen, who lost Warren because
Oh
she
yeah.
did recur like twice or whatever. But like she was a bit of a bitch, but she did have a heart of gold and she was a lovely mum. And I just thought actually she was a really good actress as well. I just thought she'd be brilliant to come back. And she had a connection because she was Val's cousin. I thought that'd be good.
Oh, yeah.
But never seen her again.
No.
And I would have liked, now I've just thought of an answer, Miss Masterton. But actually, she had an incredibly sad story. So actually, I wouldn't have been down for that.
No. I'll tell you who I am glad we've got back as storylines again and again. Rhoda Mullocks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I actually had a one that just came to me just now. Now, the pastor's wife, way back, was in one episode. And ever since then, we've never really had
the incredibly glam one.
Yeah. But ever since then, we've never had like really like a pastor's wife character that is like in the mix.
That could be Jane.
And I think that would be a really great role because can you imagine all the opportunities for like gossip over a cup of tea when they're coming in from a shift and she could like drop
Sheila
some
together as well.
Oh my God, I just think it would be so great. And like it could be like a fun, like almost like Fred, but a woman. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's kind of in and out and helpful and like can save the day in like really convenient ways, but like isn't really, like doing a lot of heavy lifting, but like she's providing a lot of, like a support and whatever. I just think that character would be great. She's never really been on the show that much, and then when, like Tom and Barbara don't really count and everything, but like I just think that would be fun.
I agree. That'd be good.
That's my suggestion.
Storyline that has frustrated you the most or had you screaming at the television the loudest?
I've got two.
Okay.
So Rhoda Mullocks' dad, when he was not accepting her, was just absolutely made me so angry. And I know it was really well written, blah, 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 blah. It just made me so angry. And then, of course, a podcast favourite, Justice for Jane.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But we have, now, if you've not listened to us or whatever before, there is an episode where we actually do a reveal of the fact that they did actually mention it, but only in New Zealand, that Jane went off, like they kind of tied up loose ends and stuff, but it was nowhere near the ending that
she deserved.
Jane deserved. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I'm not going to incentivize anyone to read the books, but if you
listen to our episodes.
Yeah, listen to our episode because in the books, Jane has a very satisfying story line, and it's amazing, and it's like everything you could have hoped for and more, and that felt very good.
Yeah, we were cheated out of that on our TV screen. Like, imagine how. Like it was like the turn of debt, like that we got the payoff from that. It was amazing when she's all like, I was lost. And he was like, whatever, like I found you. And it was just beautiful. And we could have had that for Rat and Jane.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know that I really had an answer for this one, but I mean, honestly, Sister Monica Joan just is a continual frustration. Like, I love her so much, but she can turn on a dime for me, and I just end up being so aggravated with her too. So I think I might just give it to her.
Mine is quite specific. The Vaughan and Paulette storyline. Do you remember Vaughan and Paulette?
Yes, I do. Diabetic.
She was diabetic.
Yes.
He was trying to turn his life around. He had an interview for an apprenticeship. And I was just like, you're thrown away. Like, you need to think about your future.
Yeah. I'm with you. I remember us being dead frustrated and angry about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to do the right thing in all the wrong ways. And it was like, this kid, it's going to go and it just, face.
Yeah.
Also, well done, Bex. Like, people who don't normally listen, Bex does not have the best recall for things like this a lot. Like, she can't remember being at school.
That's kind of a deep cut too. Yeah, that's absolutely good.
I'm just not got a brain.
I looked it up beforehand.
Yeah, but still, I'm still impressed. Still impressed.
Okay, least favourite mother. Mine's Marnie. Going back to the Marnie and Dot storyline. I really hate Marnie.
Oh, Marnie. Yeah, she sucks.
I have two.
Okay, you say your two.
May's mum. We had a big argument about this last week or the other few weeks ago. I don't like the way she treated May, coming back, shouting in her face. I know everyone's like, oh, she was sad or whatever, but...
Wait a minute. Tell me again.
May, Dr. Turner's daughter. May's mum turning up.
Oh, May's mother. Oh, yeah,
I just think she was rude.
Okay.
And she should be a bit grateful than looking after her daughter. And then the other one, well, this isn't a Agree podcast. It's called Recall the Midwife. And Chummy's mum, yes, she had a lovely death and they actually loved each other at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But Chummy had a very, very emotionally cold childhood from her mum. And I think she was awful to her. And the way Chummy was always trying to get her mum's, and she got love eventually from her husband and they had a lovely life. And I'm glad. But that was despite her mother, not because of. And I just think her mum was really awful to her. And I just think, even though she was very, very privileged, Chummy, more than most people in this show. So I thought it was a bit of a weird answer for me to say. But at the same time, there's a lot of love in these families. And there was none in Chummy's.
Yeah.
Growing up, I mean.
Interesting.
Okay, who has had it the toughest?
No.
Why won't I let anyone answer?
Honestly, I agree with you girls. I'm just trying to quickly just cast my mind back because I mean, oh, wait a minute.
What was that kid, the little kid who was looking after his sister? You do the impression of him.
Gary. Stay a bloody way. Stay a bloody way. Don't we smell? I know we smell. Get a bloody way from me. Cora, the fattest neglected baby in the world.
Oh God.
Their mum was flipping awful, yeah.
I know. Do you remember? Oh gosh, who was it? Oh man, there's been some really annoying women on this with when they've been having babies.
Kathleen, that was her.
Yeah, I mean, everyone I'm gonna think of is just somebody who was who just was rude or mean or somebody like that. I mean,
tell you what, Paulette's mum, she was annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. She was pretty horrible.
Oh, I know. There was that mum who didn't want her sister to be a daughter, who didn't even let her sister out of a daughter out of a sight because her sister was morally uncompromised or whatever. But actually, she was in an institution.
Yeah. Also, remember the mom who was, I mean, this was a complicated story. Remember the mom who had the daughter who was at was it Gideon's?
Yeah.
And the daughter who had intellectual disability and that other St. Gideon, Jacob, he was there. And then the mom and, well, both parents in that case were really horrible to them.
Sally and Jacob.
Yeah. And that was a tough one. I don't know. I'm not zeroing in on anything, but just to say, there's just been some complicated family dynamics. So I agree with you girls. But yeah, man, that's a tough one in a way.
Who has had it toughest of any character?
This was a hard question to answer because then I was thinking, what defines tough? Because it's so much poverty, but then as I was saying before with the whole Chummy thing, she had everything she could want materially, but she wasn't loved. So it's just a really hard thing. So I've put two things. Well, a few things. I put three answers. Joe Collett lost everyone in the world, and then he was on his own, and he still had health problems, and he died a horrible death. That is bad because he had so much loss.
Yeah.
But also, Sister Evangelina, she grew up in a terrible, terrible childhood. She came from absolute abject poverty.
Yep.
And, she had it so tough. She's grown up with that. But also, do you remember Mary, Kathleen?
Oh, yeah.
She was talking about how she was sexually abused. And honestly, the depravity that she must have known and come from and then continued to come from, because obviously then she told that Gillian, then she was kind of put in prison. It's just really, really sad. So they were my three.
Well, and piggyback off of that, Mrs. Jenkins.
Yeah, Mrs. Jenkins.
Yeah, I mean, her story is so desperately sad. And the story is sad in the show, but the book is horrifyingly sad.
I mean, there's a lot of sadness.
The other one that I put down is it was very recent. It was I'm not going to say it right. I don't know if I think she was Pakistani. The mother who gave birth for 4 or 5 days, and then she had all those
injuries,
and then lost her baby, and then with all of those injuries, she had to travel for months on a boat to come to England, and then she was in England for months with all that horrible injuries.
And her husband wouldn't live with her.
And I just thought she was getting hit from all sides on that one.
Yeah, awful.
Oh my God, I mean.
And then I've gone at it from a different angle, all of those people, but then just people that have had to overcome obstacles like Lois Parry.
Yeah.
And just generally and I've mentioned the Mullocks here as well, just because in those times the information wasn't readily available and the support.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And also society was just the way that
really rude
Susan Mullocks was treated by people, or the way they had that storyline with that Donnie, the fit dad. And the way people talking about called the child a cripple and stuff, it's just absolutely harrowing, how that was acceptable.
Which, I'm going to just say this really quick because I don't know that I'd put this together in my mind, but, there's a lot of talk nowadays about the fact that, in our current time, we have makeup, we have plastic surgery, we have, all these kind of like, like filters and everything because we're obsessed with perfection and, no one can ever look, bad or whatever like that. And, we're not.
This is, by the way, this is why we don't put our videos up on YouTube because we don't want to make everyone jealous.
Yeah, exactly. We're just too
Yeah.
stunningly beautiful. And, like, oh, we have all this technology, like with different things you can do with, whatever you like, you can like tailor make your kids and you can do, da da da. Da. And like, oh, it's not, we're, like we're obsessed with perfection and all this kind of stuff like that. Well, okay, like fine, I get that. But like rewind and you have a time period where someone is born with, a very serious situation. They have a serious, health issue, whatever, disability and everything. And everyone is absolutely horrible to them about it, And so it's just like, I'm saying it to say that not one is better than the other, but just that, we're always
There's never
existing.
perfection.
Yeah, like progress is never a straight line, and like in a time period where you think people would walk around and, there's no way to really, because medical science hasn't been able to do very much, like, people are as they are. You'd think people would be more accepting of things like that because it's like, well, this is just what normal life is, but no, not really. And people are really hard and horrible about it. And so, I just think like, yeah, and you should never romanticize history too much, and you should never like get too comfortable with like how far we've come because, 20 years from now, someone else is going to say something about, oh, I can't believe back then they used to do blah or whatever.
Thing is,
And
we will say that. I can hear
oh, we
myself
will.
saying, I can't
Oh,
believe this is happening in 2024. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Oh, we will look back and say it. That's why we should never be too comfortable with our own, level of progress. You know what I mean? Like there's always something that's going to come that's going to make us, how we used to behave seem, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they used to do that. And so I'm not sure what point I was making here, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I'm not sure how this tied to it, but yeah, like, just we all need to relax.
Okay, now who had the worst living conditions, or where would you least like to live?
Oh.
See, I've
Now,
put the McAvoys, which is why I had the name so off the tongue.
Oh, the
The
ones in
Irish
that
family
horrible
in
boarding
the
house.
yeah, who had dysentery and there was fleas
yeah,
in the boarding house and
Yeah.
oh
Again, I'm gonna go back to Joe Collett's house and Mrs. Jenkins, I'm putting air quotes, house. I mean, I don't, Joe Collett, like, absolutely overrun with bugs. Mrs. Jenkins, I mean, I don't think the woman had any running water.
no.
I don't think she had any heat or cooling. I mean, it was.
Did have some running water into the drains.
now I went with mine was very niche to me. I wouldn't have liked to lived in the caravan that Linda and Selwyn lived in during the big freeze.
Now I
Oh.
have lived in a caravan. So I spent a summer when I was 21 working in France, putting caravans away for Eurocamp for like 1p an hour. Like I'm not gonna lie, guys. They're absolutely it was ridiculous. So Eurocamp, if you're listening, not on. We lived there and it was like, so basically what we did was we took campsites down, Eurocamp sites, we took the tents down, cleaned them, put them away, but we were working like 12 hours a day. It worked out like £1 an hour. And it
Why did
was,
you want to do this job?
I don't know. So basically, my mum's friend worked at the head office and she was like, oh, it'll be really good. So I was like, oh, that sounds cool living in France for a month or two. That sounds well good. And we could all be together because there was 4 of us from university who went. But we were all put in different camps. Like it was really roughish. Then I kicked up a fuss and was like, I'm going home, and then they all got us together. But so it was awful though. It was just absolutely awful. And so we slept in the caravans, but it was off season. So it was starting to get really, really cold. My God, honestly, it was so cold. No wonder that baby like needed a hot water bottle. It was absolutely ridiculously
Oh
cold
my God.
constantly.
See, this is kind of like Al, like, because you also are a huge live music lover. Like you're a big music person anyway, but you
Yeah.
also love live music. And you've gone to so many music events, like so many, like off the charts. And you had a long period of time, and maybe still do, I don't know if you still would, but like go to music festivals as
Oh
well.
yeah. All the
And
festivals, yeah.
I remember hearing you describe a music festival that you'd been to,
It was Glastonbury.
and I just thought,
It was the Glastonbury when
never,
10,000 plus people
never
went
in
over the
my
wall
life.
and the toilets was, I can't even talk about it. It was disgusting. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that was absolute
but
depravity.
but
Yeah.
even but even like quote good ones. just would be like,
Yeah.
no. I mean, we the listeners already know how I feel about like outdoor living, so I mean, this is not going to come as a surprise to anyone. And basically, a music festival is kind of like outdoor living for like 2 or 3 days, however long it lasts. And like, that's not really for me. But also, I don't really love live
Last time I went
music.
to
I don't really want to go
Glastonbury,
to concerts.
I
But
woke up really hungover with my head in a puddle and I cried.
oh,
And I and I was like, this is the last time I'm coming to Glastonbury. I think I was about 32 or 31. I was just like,
really?
yeah, I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Oh my
I
God,
have been to festivals since, but I've gone for days or I've stayed in the hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got a
I mean,
fringe.
hats off to
Can't do
really, I mean,
festivals.
yeah, it's definitely one of those things where, I mean, I think you can go at any time of life. I usually associate it with younger years of life, you know?
Yeah.
But
I used to love them.
oh, I know. You used to go to them like every single
I
year.
used to go to multiple a year. Yeah.
Yeah, like oh my gosh. But no. Mm-mm, for me.
Okay, next question. Worst job of anybody we've encountered, and this can be any series 1 to 13. Now, I was racking my brain about because I was thinking, because I mean, most of the women are actually the mothers in this.
To me, any form of sex work is going to be a hard
Well,
pass.
yeah. And then I was racking my brains about all the expectant fathers. And then I was like, no, the sex workers.
Well, I think, yeah, Kirsten on the boat.
Ugh.
Yeah.
She wasn't even getting paid.
I know.
No, she wasn't.
I mean,
her job was to keep the men happy.
yeah. And look, again, like there's no judgment for that type of work. Like we really aren't judging it, but just like for me personally, that's gonna be a hard no. Like for me personally, it's a hard no.
Yeah, because
Also,
nobody's
Kipper smoking. I could do that every day.
Yeah, that one
but with the
didn't look
sex work,
good.
nobody's come to that no one's made the choice to do that.
Well, I mean, I think there are a couple people on the show who have, and certainly in the real world, there are lots of people who actively choose it and they choose it of their own free will. But a lot of the
that's
times
what I mean. In those times, it was just desperation.
well, a lot of the times on the show that we see it, it's women who are not choosing this out of their own sexual autonomy, bottom up body autonomy. Like they're not choosing it because it's like a help, like they've made the choice under duress, or which is not a choice, or they don't have a choice and they have to do it, and then it's also terrible. I mean, but even like the poor girl the one who is, I don't know if this is the right term for this, but anyway, she's a stripper. She takes her clothes off at the club and she dances and then she gets pregnant. She does the like Lady of the Furs one and she can't take the coat off because she has too much of a baby bump.
The one who has baby Elizabeth.
Yeah, and I apologize if that's not the right term for that anymore, but the lady who dances and takes her clothes off basically.
Doesn't she open the dance school?
She opens the dance school, yeah. But that also doesn't seem like a job that would not be.
I mean, I wouldn't like to do that. I don't think people would like to see it either, but
Oh, I'm not saying this is something anybody's looking for me, but I'm just saying like I don't.
Although, guys, after my knee surgery, you won't be able to stop me. Oh, that's the point, actually. I've got a date for my surgery, everyone. So by the time this is out, I should have had it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. In fact,
wow.
I think actually by the time the 100th episode's out, I should have had it.
Oh, that's exciting. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to finish on a lighter note because it got quite bleak there. Biggest fashion disaster.
I think Trixie's awful miniskirt. I think the fabric was disgusting. It was shockingly bad, as in it shocked the whole room, but also it was just disgusting.
I went with Dr. McNulty's beige twin set.
Oh my gosh. Also, remember the dad, like we referenced him earlier, but the one who, gave his wife the STD and Dr. Turner turned up at his house and he was in the vest top with like the gold chain and everything. Now that would argue that's not really a fashion choice. But it looked really bad. And then the other one that I want to point to, and I really feel bad for saying this because I know it's very trendy and I know they're doing it of the time. And I know this is part of her character being like a young, cool girl or whatever. But I really do not love a lot of, is it Nancy?
Yeah.
Like her like crazy 70s psychedelic prints and like blue lipstick with like a neon green skirt and then like a crazy paisley top. Like she just, for me, it's not, I don't love that. And that's totally a preference thing because it's very appropriate for the show and it's appropriate for her character, but I just don't love it.
We are entering, I don't love a 70s fashion era.
No.
It's the fabric, I think.
Yeah, everybody's flammable right now.
Well, and
Yeah.
also, do you remember? I can't remember her name, obviously, but it's the mom who brought the custard creams to the Keep Fit class.
The yellow
Yeah.
leggings.
Yes, and she's wearing she had and the crotch of her leotard is getting pulled down because the leggings are sagging, and she's trying to dance through her, I think, miscarriage or something, and it's just that. I mean, again, the storyline is separate, but that outfit was really tragique to me, and I felt bad for her. I was like, no, no, no.
Also, none of that fabric is breathable right now.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
no. No.
I mean, they're in Poplar. It's not like it's tropical, but still.
I know,
Yeah.
but can you imagine being in a gym full of like sweaty women and you're sweating and then ugh, no. Oh my
Now,
God, girls,
oh,
wait. Speaking of that, I just thought about like, oh, like you'd want to like go home and take a bath, which I don't like baths, but anyways, like want to go home and take a shower. I saw this TikTok yesterday and it was a lady who was like, "Oh, here's my bath." And she literally did the most insane thing. She had a bath, like she had a mat that laid in her bathtub that she sat on, I guess. That's fine. She filled the bathtub with water. She put in bath bombs, then she put in bubbles. Then she put like that rack that goes across your bathtub so that you can like put a candle and a book and a drink and everything. So she put that on. Then she put snacks, then she put a book, then she put candles. And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." Then she made another drink, then she made more snacks. Then she put on a projector that like projected over the wall of the tiles of her bathtub so that
but
like
that
she
will be
she
cold.
well, that's the thing. I was like, "Ma'am, how long are you sitting in the dang bath? Like you have a book. Like you're and literally and I know she did it just for the video because by the end I was like, okay, this is absolutely freaking ridiculous. But I'm like, it took you 45 minutes to draw that bath. Like you're gonna get in and you're not even gonna be like, how long are you sitting in a bathtub? 20 minutes? I mean, I was like, it really just sent me to the moon. And it was one of these like OTT things that you see on social media now. Anyway.
I don't like them weird salad things where, and no offense, Jen, this is an American trend, sorry, where they throw just so much stuff in a bowl. Like, that's just a waste of food.
Here's one that's so on par with that. I told my mom about this. I saw this one that was lady who was like, "Oh, every week I love to make myself a hearty bean salad." And I was like, "Okay, let me see what's going on here." So in this salad, she had tomatoes, it was summer, so she did peaches and I was like, "All right, I'm kind of not really here for like savory peaches, but she did like tomatoes, she did onion, she did grilled peaches, she did corn. She did some kind of like white navy bean. Then she did like a ton of grilled chicken in there. Then she did cheese. Then she did this dressing that she made. Like there was literally 1% vegetable in this salad. And like
Yeah.
everything else was like fruit, meat, cheese, beans. I'm like, you're gonna eat like 4 bites of the salad and it's gonna be so dense.
And
I
then
mean,
you're
she
going to
did
have to
say
throw it
dense.
away.
Well, her thing was I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna keep eating it all week long, but I'm just like, are you
No.
though? Like I just was like, we're losing the plot. Yeah, I'm with you on the
And
beans
on that,
we have lost the plot a little bit. This was so fun, you guys.
it was good. I did like, so I'm sorry that we interjected and interrupted our series 9 episodes to
I
go
hope
with
the
the
listeners will.
100 and 101 episode, but we just didn't want to waste the opportunity because, I can't
Yeah,
believe we've done 100 episodes. And also, I just
I
want to say
really
thank you
can't.
so much for everyone's continued support. We're getting so many new lovely fans as well, talking to us, sending us messages.
Yeah.
Don't even have time to go through some messages that we've had. They're absolutely gorgeous. But in fact, I'll do one really quick now because we had one literally yesterday from a girl called Jess. So I'll just do it really, really quick because I just want to, it's just lovely that we're actually getting all these messages and we really love it.
Yeah.
So also follow us on Facebook because Facebook got rid of our old page because I think we're not real and we are. We are. Okay.
I was wondering, is our Facebook, how's it going? I'm not on Facebook.
It's going well, but we've got like 100 and something followers rather than 3,700, so it's pretty annoying.
Oh, okay.
So Jess says, "Thank you for keeping me entertained on both the bus and during my free periods at college. I also want to mention a couple of things that I couldn't add in the last message because it was too long." Right, so she sent us a message there. "Up until I listened to the podcast, I too thought that the flying squad was a helicopter. I don't know if she is 16, though. I don't know exactly where I thought the helicopter would be landing in the middle of London, me neither." Okay, number 2, I know you guys speaking about having young listeners at one moment. I just wanted to mention I'm 16 now and starting watch Call Midwife at 14 because I thought it would give me an insight into midwifery because I would love to be one when I'm older. 3, I know you spoke about this ages ago, but I also think that Jimmy was a sweet character for Call the Midwife and I didn't find him annoying in any way. I know, Jen.
Yes! Oh, Jess, thank God I've been redeemed just a
Number
little bit. I
4, you
appreciate
guys mentioned how Barbara was one of your guys' top fave characters, and she was in my top 2 at the whole show, and she did not deserve that ending. I was heartbroken. Same. 5, I've been looking forward to you guys talking about some of my fave episodes. The camping episode, which I just listened to and laughed so hard while on the bus. The Africa episode was amazing to watch, and I'm looking forward to getting that podcast. I also loved the train episode in season 11, which I know you guys still have a while to get to, but I'm still looking forward to that message. I know I said in the last message because she's sent us another one before. You guys are amazing, and you deserve all the love you get. Well, Jess, big love back at you.
Yes.
Oh, thank
you
you.
beautiful woman. We can't
I
end
wanted
on
to
a
mention
better
that because
note
I had
than
Jenn
that.
to love Jimmy as well.
I know. Well, we can't
Yeah.
end on a better note than that, and I just
So
big
here's
love
the
to all
next
of you.
100, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Back to series 9.
Bye.
Bye.